Our City Council special call meeting now is called to order on August 29, 2019. We are to citizen comment. I have no speaker cards. We are to budget items. Consider a resolution establishing city fees and charges for the fiscal year 2019-2020. Mr. Bonds.
Well, we've been over the budget several times, and just be glad to answer any questions you might have. Any further clarifications or
Any questions, Mr. Bonds?
anything else?
Move to approve the fees as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We now have a public hearing on the proposed budget. Ms. Cohen.
Good evening. State law requires public hearing on the proposed budget to ensure opportunity for public feedback. The budget will be adopted on the agenda, the next item.
District requires a public hearing, which is now open. Any comments, questions? Public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor? We don't have a motion on that. Just a public hearing. Never mind.
Oh, next
Now
item.
we're considering ordinance adopting the fiscal year 2019-2020 annual operating budget. Mr. Bonds.
Any comments?
Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Have a public hearing on the proposed tax rate. Ms. Cohen.
Thank you. This is the second of the two required public hearings. The proposed tax rate is 55.89 cents per 100 valuation. This is an increase to the current tax rate of 4.9 cents, and this will be used on debt service.
This requires a public hearing, which is now open. Any comments, questions, Ms. Cohen? Public hearing is now closed. Consider a motion to ratify the property tax revenue increase reflected in the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget. Ms. Cohen.
When a budget will raise more revenue for property taxes than the prior year, a separate vote of the governing body to ratify the property taxes required by the local government code. This budget will raise more revenue of approximately $3,565,000. Most of this increase will be utilized for debt service.
Any questions, Ms. Cohen?
I'm supposed to read this.
Is there a motion? Mr.
Move that we
Purtle.
ratify the property tax to increase to reflect of the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Action item, consider a resolution adopting the Longview Economic Development Corporation 2019-2020 budget. Mr. Mansfield.
Thank you. Good evening. And I believe I only have 5 minutes, so we'll move through this very quickly. We had another really good year at LECO. Of course, the year before was highlighted by the location of Dollar General here in Longview. This year was the year of expansions for our companies, and you can see the total capital investment a little over $143 million, and the jobs created 175. And we continue to move along with new projects. I believe actually that number 11 has increased a couple, so I think we're about 13 new projects we're working on right now. So we look forward to another good year coming up in 2020. Okay, Sean. There we go. The revenue projections, of course, we get from Angela. We appreciate the opportunity to work with Keith and the team here, and appreciate everyone in the city and working to help establish our budget. The interest income, you see, that is the interest from our money market account. This year, I was fortunate enough to work with Texas Bank and Trust. We increased our interest rate from 0.75% to 2%. So that's reflected. The $150,000 is actually a very conservative number. We've already surpassed that number for this fiscal year. So I do like to set these numbers at a very conservative level. But last year, we did have a 10% increase in growth. This year, it's another 10%, a little over 10% increase in growth. For our expenditures, you'll see a slight increase in our industry. This is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. This is our marketing efforts. This is our lead generation efforts. And of course, one of our major strategies is foreign direct investment. We continue to work with that. I believe out of those 13 projects, about half of them are FDI related. And another thing that we're going to focus on this year is aviation. We're seeing that sector grow pretty significantly. We have the assets and the capability, and we're going to focus heavily on the aviation sector. You'll see the other categories have pretty much stayed the same. I must not be holding my mouth correctly, but you'll see the further breakdown here on the On the industry side of it, the other categories stay basically the same. Slight increases just as a way of a cost of doing business. In the G&A, the personnel benefits, this was our largest increase, and I can tell you the 70,000, the majority of that increase, the majority of that was health insurance. Our health insurance, as y'all well know, since we are participating in y'all's plan, it costs more than doubled for us, so we had to take that into account. Small increases in the office expenditures. Again, the cost of doing business and our insurance, professional services, which is our legal, accounting, and auditing. There again, you'll see the further breakdown in the G&A. And then our capital expenditures, these are our non-fixed assets. This is maintenance of our business park, our debt service to our bonds that we issued to participate in construction of the trails, and then our non-fixed capital, which is the office FF&E, and then site preparation, which those numbers remain the same. And then in our capital funds budget, I like to look at this as following y'all's lead. The citizens were kind enough to vote the bond issue this year, which y'all are well underway of improving our city, and we're looking at this in the same manner. Now's the time for us to improve our capital assets. So what you'll see, this is like a capital improvements fund. It's a holding fund. We did not do a transfer out of our general fund into the capital fund this year because we did last year. We did 2.9 last year, so we did not see the need for it. But we further broke this down just to have a better understanding of what our commitments are. The trails, the bond funds, that's the bond proceeds we have remaining that are committed to the trails. The 2.5 is what we will have to spend in LECO funds for the trail program to be built out, which I believe is this year and the following year. And then the George Ritchie signal, which is under construction now. I believe it's up. That was part of the Dollar General project. And then we've also exploring the possibility of building or locating a new office headquarters. And we heard a presentation from our consultant at our last board meeting on suggestions for space requirements and potential site locations. And no decision has been made. I'm hoping the board will, they took it under advisement that we will revisit this at the September meeting and make some determination then. And then other potential capital projects, which could include improvement of our properties, such as Estes Parkway property or other properties. For instance, we had to remove the building on the Estes property south of I-20 this year. So again, you'll see no transfers in from the general fund, and we still have a positive balance if this were to be spent. This is just a slide again showing our commitment to the trails. The projected numbers are forecast numbers from Rollin, which we appreciate working with him and providing the information, what we've spent to date, and how much we have left. And this does not take into consideration the TxDOT grant that the city received. And then the academy funding, and I think it's important, this is a really unique opportunity for Longview and training our workforce. And LECO has made the commitment to fund the academy. And I just wanted to show what we've spent to date and what our commitments are moving forward. And we continue to work with them and work with the Chamber Foundation that oversees that currently to ensure that it's successful going forward. And then in summary, again, we had a really good year this year. We look forward to another great year. We still leave, after all the expenses from the potential revenue generated this year, we're still leaving a little over $2 million for economic incentives. I think the opportunities are great, and we'll continue to move forward and work to bring new companies and help expand our existing companies here.
Any questions, Mr. Mansfield, on this budget?
Go ahead, Steve.
On the facility you're looking at, are you still looking at the bank building on Judson?
That is one under consideration. Yes, sir.
Okay. Would it be more economical to buy that and do that than it would be to build a new one?
Well, that possibly. It would have to get in there and see what would need to be done to bring that build. That building was built in the 70s, so it may not be in code compliance in today's standards. So that full analysis of what's in that building and what would be needed to put into it, plus the acquisition, has not been determined yet.
Is it big enough?
It's more than big enough. There's probably actually more room than we would need.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Wright?
Wayne, just after sitting through a lot of your meetings and all, I just want to tell you thank you for all you guys are doing for the city. You're bringing your hard work to get business into town and all has been paying off really, really well, and I appreciate all you're doing.
Thank you.
I don't get a lot of comments from the citizens about things. I get a few here and there, but one of the most I've had so lately is about the trail system. And we really appreciate everything you're doing for the trails. The new portion that's opened up has gotten all kinds of compliments. And so we really appreciate all your hard work on that and your contributions to that, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's absolutely a team effort with us and the city and everyone involved.
Will someone show me how to call forward so David can get more comments from the city? Citizens? I'll call forward you my number, and you can get all you want, buddy.
Oh, you're doing a great job on that.
Golly. Wayne, and once again, we do appreciate all you have done, the board. You have a very, very astute board, a very business-minded, forward-thinking board, which
Absolutely.
I think is such a testament to what's been going on, and I think it'll continue to do that as people come on and come off, because we continue to replace voting members with non-voting members and continue to stack that deck to make it really, really a smooth transition, almost seamless. And so I commend you for that, and for the board members. I know y'all spend a lot of time on this budget because this is a big deal. And so the citizens appreciate you outlining this and showing us what you're doing, because I think that money is being well spent, and it's being spent to increase economic development in the community, which is what it's supposed to be doing, because it is the citizens' money, and it's where it comes from.
That's right.
So we appreciate it very much.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions, Mr. Mansfield?
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well, citizens, with that, we are adjourned.